lean mean for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think that the lean and health and safety are very much connected, and you can apply all these principles from lean within health and safety department or health and safety approach. So, for example, focus on what is the most important. You prioritize safety measures, always protecting workers and preventing injuries as a first one. You can eliminate some, I would call it like a waste safety processes. For example, instead of kind of like a lengthy safety forms that you are actually implementing and requiring people to fill in, you come up with some short one. Yeah. You remove the and eliminate the waste. So for example, um, when you have people that they have to walk a long distance to pick up personal protective equipment, that's a waste. I mean, so you can reduce that. You reduce the walking long distances. Placing the safety gear somewhere closer to the work environment. You can also improve your safety inspections. Using the digital systems, for example, for the reporting incidents. You can use the Kaizen event that was very much typical and quite favorite, within health and safety, doing the Kaizen in the specific department to cope with the higher number of accidents. Standardization. I mean that, for example, lockout tagout. When you have the machines, you standardize and you have one form for the lockout tagout. Spec- Obviously, you have a specific machines, so you have to have a specific lockout tagout procedure, but the form is standardized. When you have accidents, you investigate. You are using five why method, for example, or the fishbone diagram. So these lean principles really much applicable. I mean, I guess, Ivan, I mean, you were part of the international team, so were you also involved in the accident investigation?
Yeah, yeah. I can tell you once I have even, and it was for me the eye opening,
Mhm.
and that was that we have the ignition in that factory. Yeah. And as I mentioned, there was the really high risk of the injury of the fire.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have the ignition, the CO2 system started, and of course we had the clear procedure about the evacuation ring, the meeting point, and what we need to do, everybody, etc., etc. And at that moment, I was the highest level manager, so it was my responsibility, to get it everything done. And so there were like 6 fire brigades arrived, as well. The police arrived, the investigators arrived at that moment. And for me, the crazy point was we couldn't find one guy, but we couldn't enter because of CO2 release. Yeah, and for me, it was the longest minutes in my life that having the perception, did we save everybody? And this is something that that you don't want to have like this.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, this guy was somewhere else. He didn't come to the. He was the contractor from truck driver, and he didn't come to the meeting point. So luckily, I was so lucky. I saw him. So finally, nothing. They were the minor damages. CO2 worked. Everything was saved. So, but still, and for me, it was like how you drill everything, how you are ready, how you have all these procedures in place. People will train, etc., etc., and we trained it several times. So luckily, there was no injury. There
Hmm.
was no finally some financial damages as well, the
Hmm.
property damages. And yeah, it was like coincidence Friday, 6 o'clock in the PM. You want to go to your family, and finally you stay till midnight because of the investigation and everything. But luckily, everything worked as it should be, and there was nothing wrong in the end. So I was really lucky for that. Yeah. So yes, I was the part, and this was really my very close experience to that. And I said, "Hey guys, I would I would love that you have the same experience, because with this one you will see how all these processes, when you train it 20 times, and when you need it for the first time in real, that you are so happy that it worked. Because
Right.
one of my invention was really the evacuation points. We split the areas into the zones,
Hmm.
and each of the guys knew to which zone to go. And based on this, it was very fast. Within few minutes, we knew everybody. We could count it. We have the list of the people in the factory. We have the list of the people just briefly. And within 2 minutes, we could count. When we started before this procedure, it took 20 minutes here. So now 2 minutes here. So it was brilliant. And I'm really happy that we did it like this here. So yes, I can tell you very close. Maybe closer that I wouldn't like, but that I would like, but yeah. Good experience, really good experience. My next question is as well, you started with some of kind of digitalization, of course, the forms could be digitalized, but do you see in your field, in your OHSC, do you see some new methods? I mean, like really the digitalization, probably AI, automatization, do you see it as well, and what kind of?
Yeah, I mean, I think, artificial intelligence is very popular these days, and you can do a lot with AI. And I see specifically in my field, I see things like, okay, you can use AI to predict, like a predictive analysis. So, for example, you're looking at the old data of your accidents, and you can kind of like predict the development and potentially prevent some accidents. That's one thing. Then you can have also the computer vision. So I mean that you can identify unsafe behaviors of people. You can also use AI for chatbots. So specifically, you will always 24 hours, 24/7. You will have answers to your questions about health and safety. So that's AI where you can that you can use. You can also have variable safety technology, like a smart helmets, vests, wristbands, and all this stuff. Virtual reality, I think it will be very popular among employees when you provide, for example, virtual reality goggles, and you can train people and specific some dangerous environment or the dangerous hazardous situations. Then you can use virtual reality. And then Internet of Things, like connected devices that they are monitoring industrial hygiene issues like noise levels, air quality, and so on, so on. So definitely, I see nice development in health and safety.
Yeah, thanks for that. When you mentioned this virtual reality and the goggles, I think like 2 months ago, I visited the University of Skoda in Malabos, I think Czech Republic, yeah. And I really tried. And this was not for the safety purposes, but that training was for the quality. So we had, the dashboard, and based on the instruction which I saw in the goggles, I was really following the quality check. And it was so simple and it was so cool. And I really like it. So I can really guarantee that, that this is something very, I would say very close future, because it was working quite well. I like all these tools that you mentioned. Yeah. How easy is, or how often do you see it already implemented in the companies? Because one thing is, that's great. Like, hey guys, let's use the chatbots. Hey guys, let's use the predictive stuff, for your potential incidents. How really do you see it in the industry? How really do you see it now in the companies? Is it close to be implemented? Do they already have it, or none of your customers they have it? How do you see it?
Well, I think you can definitely, what you see is digital boards, that digitalization and so on. So this is very common, like there are companies, they are using, for example, digital reporting, I mean, near miss reporting, all these things you can see definitely. I think in terms of virtual reality, the training, you would have to use some external consulting company or some company that provides this. So this is basically like a third party supply. This is not actually something that is owned by the companies. And then I would say overall, I think that digitalization comes more and more often, and there are companies, they are specializing in, for example, in the auditing. I believe that in near future we will see also use of drones not only externally for kind of inspections, but maybe internally, you know.
Mhm.
So it's coming more and more. But I see that the company has to be open to this environment and kind of like test it first. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that. How about what do you like about your job the most, and on opposite, what annoys you?
Well, I like, as I said before, I like to work with people. I like that you see that if you have the long-term project, you will be able to observe the change of the culture within the company, change of behaviors within the company, and as a result, you are reducing number of accidents. This is what I like the most, and working with the teams. What I don't like is, I would call it like a resistance to change, you know. So people are telling you, oh, we have always done it in this way. There is no reason why we should change, you know. You see also some kind of like a lack of leadership buying, you know. This is the
Mhm.
people they, I mean, that especially kind of like some senior leaders, they tell you, yes, we support health and safety, it's important for us, but they don't live by examples, you know. So that's the thing that I'm observing sometimes. And then the third one is, I like that some companies, they are good at the accident prevention in terms of like putting together technical measures, you know, organizational measures, but they don't check whether it was actually implemented or not. So later on you discover that the same accident happens because no one checked that it is really in place. I mean, the prevention action. So those are the things that I'm observing quite often.
Yeah, I think this is something what we have quite in common. The lean and safety is really what
Yes.
you mentioned as resistant to change.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think the discipline, you know, that, I mean, same like in lean principles, you know, I mean, that you are using 5S, but if you do it today and next month you just get rid of all of what you have done, it's gone actually. Yeah.
Yeah, what I like about the 5S, one of always when I say, hey guys, why don't you follow the rules, and you create it? You
Hmm.
created your own rules. So it means what I don't like usually when somebody comes, the smart guy, and this was my experience when I joined some companies, and the guys were totally against, because there was some smart guy who told them, please put the pencils here, please put here, etc., etc. And I said, hey, this is your environment. Just try to find the best way how you all can follow the rules. And if they didn't, and I say, hey guys, how do you do it at home? And find me some examples from home. And they were coming and they were saying, okay, it's not applicable. And I was just giving them some advices and how about, so you have your knives, forks, and spoons all mixed together. No way. We have it
Mm.
separately. And why? Not because it's more efficient. And I said, guys, but this is the principle of 5S. You just find the right place what you need, and you just put it where you need it, and you just try to find it as fast as possible. So the same normally you do at home. You have your socks. Probably you have your colored socks. Probably you have your the black socks. Probably you have your underpants, maybe t-shirts. You have it as well in the different piles. Yes, yes, we have it. Hey guys, this is the same. You apply it at home. Please apply it at your company as well.
Right.
So again, it's the mindset, and that's it. Yeah,
Mm.
the lean
Mm.
is really about the mindset. It's not about the sets of tools that you need to follow. It's really about the mindset. Yeah,
Mhm.
I would say as well. Your experience. I mean, some of your project or that you were really proud of, and opposite, based on your 27 years of experience, if you can share with us the fuck up. Yeah, so something what went really perfectly, and something what didn't, what went wrong.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a. I remember my first experience. That was when I joined the tobacco company, and I was coming to the environment when ladies, they were actually wearing flip flops, you know, in the manufacturing environment, and I was the guy who was responsible to implement safety shoes in the manufacturing shop floor. So that was a complete shock. But I mean that over the explanation, what is the good safe behaviors. We also sent a lot of department leaders for the specific training about health and safety. But it was not about the legislation; it was about the mindset. So it helped. It helped quite a lot actually. To implement the safety issues, because people, they over the time, they eventually understood why we are doing that. Yeah, I mean that manipulation with heavy stuff and so on and so on. So that was good. I remember it. I would not call it like a total fuck up, story, but I would say it was a really funny situation. I was doing the site visit, and then I noticed it was in actually a logistic warehouse, and I noticed the guy driving the forklift, and then next to the forklift there was kind of like a wooden stick, like it was duct taped to the forklift. And I asked the guy, why you have it? I mean, what is it for? I mean, and then he explained to me that when he drives the forklift and he's close to the actually open gate doors, he didn't want to get off the forklift, so he used the wooden stick to push the button to open the door. So I found it quite an innovative thing within the health and safety. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of the experience, and it was not the fuck up, but definitely that happened in the Russia plant where I was for several weeks, and it was after the Christmas, and the forklift driver, he was thinking he was loading the truck, yeah, and you load it from back side, yeah, so you load, and he was very close, to finish the loading, but the truck started, yeah. And I think he was thinking he's Vin Diesel from Fast and Furious, from that movies. So he really, driving, and he was thinking like, okay, this is like from the movie that you jump. So of course, so he was going, and because there was already like 1-2 meters gap, so instead of jumping, because you cannot jump with the forklift, he was just jumping like here. Luckily, he fastened the seatbelt, nothing happened. But for me, was sometimes the people are so creative, seeing in the movies like jumping with the trucks, jumping with the buses. So probably he was thinking that he can jump with the forklift, fully loaded. It doesn't work here. So please, guys, don't do it. We had this experience, so yeah, it was funny, of course. Yeah, he was injured just partially, not nothing severe, but that sometimes it's just crazy like this. About, yeah, I would say, do you have some about the safety? Do you have some favorite movie or the book that you would recommend? That you would say, hey guys, this is really, if you would like to learn more, read this book, or probably watch this movie, or follow the podcast, something that you could inspire the others, or what inspires you?
So I'm currently reading a book that is not actually health and safety related. It's more just like a kind of like the book for the personal development. So maybe I
Mhm.
would comment it's the guy who actually wrote this book is Slovak entrepreneur. His name is Petr Pilar, and the book is called Everything is Different.
Mhm.
And it's what I like is actually he collected he calls that uh, power sentences. So over 20 years of his entrepreneurship, he collected these sentences. And when you read the book, actually, he's using a lot of those power sentences, but also he's able to explain in a practical
Mhm.
example what that means. And this is what I like about this book. I bought it actually during the Christmas time, and I'm still reading that. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks really a lot for the inspiration. My last question is: what advice would you give to the younger people who would like to work as an OHSC consultant, or would like to work really in the health and safety field? What would be your advice?
So I think you mentioned that at the beginning that safety guys sometimes are perceived like guys that are implementing boring rules, and they are legislation gurus and so on, but without any humor. So my advice would be the normal person, ask people, have a long discussions with the people on the shop floor. Try to understand why they are doing what they are doing, because then you will understand why accidents happen, and therefore you can then prevent those accidents. But just through the procedures, standards, you will not be able actually to reduce accidents. I mean, you need to talk to people and be the human. So that is my advice. Don't blame people for mistakes. People are not making mistakes just because they want, but there's always kind of like a root cause while they are making mistakes.
Thanks a lot, Petr. It was really something which I had the same with the lean implementation. Yeah, speak to the people, be open, listen to the guys, and don't play you are a god, and listen to them. So thanks a lot for that. So okay, so thanks a lot. We are coming till the end. So my guest was Petr Pilar, health and safety consultant, founder of PPSafetyco. And this was the podcast, Don't Be Silent, Be Lean, from the series Efficiency Now. So Peter, thanks a lot for joining. Thanks that you accepted my invitation. I wish you all the good stories, as well the good experience in your companies. And I wish you good luck and enjoy the day.
Thanks, Ivan. Okay, all the best.
Thank you.
Okay,
Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye.